As we can see, the Dow is pulling back, but not with any great resiliency, just a bunch of dojis. So that kind of gives you the impression that the selling isn't or should give you the impression that the selling isn't that convincing. At the same time, the NASDAQ is steadily moving up. So it's not like everybody's bailing out of this market or buying into this market. Just telling you there's different sectors being bought, other sectors being sold. And the ones that are being sold off right now, as we can see in crude oil right at the $40 level. I think it was even lower than that, got down to 39 something today. But until we see a reversal in crude oil, the oil stocks are going to continue to act weak. This one had been acting well, IOC. Well, how about that? Dang, these days. Just no, we put ourselves on the unsolicited list time after time. But this is where I think you should have a little bit of money right now, is in the gold sector. You can see how there's been a trend, support level right up through this area, which means, well, you're going to have a parallel trend, which means you could be moving up into this area. So as long as the gold is acting well, that means the gold stocks are going to be acting well. Still like AU. We recommended Guru this morning. Whoops. Because of the J-hook pattern. I'd still be a buyer of this one on strength tomorrow. DRD, another fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. You notice a little kicker type signal that reversed this one. This one can still be bought. Let's see, with that one's not looking for. There was a couple other golds that were acting well. I can't remember what they are. Nothing too much in the commodity area or the futures area, except cattle was up the limit today. And another case where you draw your trend line right down through the tops. It's enough running room, probably get you up to the 200-day moving average. And we've been short hogs. Want to stay short until you see a buy signal. All right, again, with the market's kind of drifting sideways, each stock chart needs to be analyzed on its own accord. Here's CYTK, came out of the fry pan bottom. Remember this whipsaw type action. Got up here, didn't activate, didn't execute, I guess is the word. Then we had a kicker type signal that broke it out. So you want to stay long on this one. XL or XTLY. This is what you want to watch for. Notice the kind of the fry pan bottom, slow curve right at the breakout area. And remember what our analysis is. That if this is the trend, and this is the consolidation, that when the consolidation's over, they usually pop it very quickly right back up to the trend. So that usually makes for a good, strong price move if it breaks out through this resistance level. And we're going to get to a few more of the slow curves. And there's CPHD, another J-hook pattern started with a kicker signal. Probably getting right back up here into the trend channel. Let's see. And This one was being thrown around quite a bit today. Tops. Anytime you start seeing these big breakouts, this is a case where when they gapped it up, you already knew there's a lot of activity in this one coming out of a very unactive trading area. So this one, if you were watching it, you buy it when it's up 25, 30, 40, 60%. That's why going to your 10-minute chart is very informative, that when they bring it up, they can't get it really back below the T-line. Pretty much tells you they weren't selling it off, especially going into the end of the day. Meat, whoops. Oh, let's redo that since that was the 5-minute chart. 10-minute chart on tops, as you can see, can really never get back below the T-line. Now, it came back below the T-line here, but that was in the final hour. So kind of keep an eye on it, because usually where's the profit taking going to occur? Right in the final hour. But if you extrapolate that to a daily chart, it means you're still trading up here at the very high end of the range. Had they really started selling it off, you would have seen that on the 10-minute chart. And if they'd closed way back down here, that would have told you there was profit taking already starting. Now, as mentioned, the slow curve, these are what you're going to want to look for. Anytime you see that setup, and then they gap it up, that's where you want to start buying immediately, because that's where that breakout is going to occur. So if you keep an eye on something like this, these are, I'm going to say, these are the ones I like to watch or find, because if they start trading positive and break out, not only do they have a good possibility of moving positive, but there's high probabilities that there's going to be a big breakout price move. Venda, notice where the breakout area was. Notice how they got there with a little trend kicker. Another one that I would be apt to buy on positive trading tomorrow, with the anticipation that if this is the trend, this is where that fast pop could take you to. And I say fast pop, it could get there in a day or two, catching back up to what the original trend channel was. Weibo, another one that's coming out of a slow curve, has the prospects of getting back up pretty quick up into the trend channel. I have some more here. Again, there was that breakout. So anytime I see that slow curve starting to come up to the breakout area, I get ready to buy on the day before if it gets very close, or as soon as I see it's breaking out the next day. Because if everybody else is watching, coming out of the slow curve, that breakout move, again, has a high probability of not only moving positive, but moving very strong positive. RGEN, kind of the same scenario. Let's see. And ORBC, it's right there, right now. Notice how they gapped it up today, going to that level. That usually means that level is not going to act as resistance. Oops, I got the TV on, and they're advertising MyPillow. We need to set up an investigatory marketing committee to see how the heck they can be advertising MyPillow every 10 minutes on TV. They must be making a fortune. Ron, yes, if I saw something like this, it may not be this one. Let me see. If I see something like this, now it's lower price stock, but let's say this was a $50 stock, and I saw it gap open right in here, yes. I don't know why they're selling MyPillow. It's just unbelievable. Anyways, yes, I'd be buying as soon as I saw it. That's up to each individual, Paul, of And again, that's still a function of how far away are you from expiration. Let me see if I can find one that makes a little bit more sense. Let's say on this one right here, opened up at around 30.50. Let's say went to 31. If I could see that it was breaking out, I might buy a 32 in this case. And I'm trying to, and something like Nugget. Now this isn't kind of a slow curve, but more of a trend J-hook. If I can't afford to buy the 170s, which are trading around 17 bucks, I might go up here to this area and find something that may be only trading for 2 or 3 bucks. So again, it's up to each individual whether you want to go way out of the money and expect a big percent move if it moves. If it doesn't, you didn't have a whole lot of money sitting in it, or closer to at the money, knowing that if it does break out, you got a good percentage upside. If it doesn't break out, you're going to get back out with most of your, hopefully most of your premium. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So not only do we have the gold stocks that are acting well, but you can see that Labu, the biotechs, are working pretty well right now also, except for the fact that the biotechs or Labu has just hit the 200. It gapped up to get there in the overbought condition. Now you have to see if it gets through. If it gets through, somebody was asking how much weight do you put on each sector, and I was kind of describing that if I had everything fully invested right now, I'd probably have three positions in the gold area, maybe 1 or 2 positions short, which leaves 5 other positions. I might have 2 or 3 in the biotech area, which means I've got 1 or 2 other positions in other areas. Let's see what else we got here. B-Cove. Again, this is kind of the illustration of, notice when it went sideways, pulling back, very indecisive trading. And that's kind of what we're looking at when we're looking at the Dow, pulling back, but very indecisive trading. Yes, options on a 3 ETF. If you don't want to be sitting around waiting for things to happen, that's the way to go, because the ETFs are going to work just the same way as the normal ETF or an individual stock. So as we can see in Nugget, if it's moving in the right direction, it can move 10, 12, 15 points in one day without any problems. And INO, there's that slow curve, and where did they break out? Right at just above where they started and through the 50. Where is it likely to go to? Well, there's a gap up here. So again, the reason I'm showing the slow curve fry pan bottoms is with the market moving lethargically like it is, you want to pick out the situations where you have a high probability of not only being in the right direction, but if it works, it's going to work with a big percentage move. ASX, another big fry pan bottom. And notice where they gapped out, right where this fry pan bottom started. Let's see, CHGG. So there's your kind of slow curve but bobble pattern. Notice it failed at the 200, Came back, couldn't get very far away from the T line. This one, you definitely want to be a buyer if it opens positive tomorrow, because it's telling you exactly what's happening at the resistance level. Notice the failure here. This is why I always say watch to see what it does once it gets to the next target. Profit taking, shooting star, left-right combo, that pretty much told you they weren't going through. It was time to take profits. Now, looks like the profit taking's over. If they open this positive, you want to be buying back in. I have no qualms about closing out something here and buying back here, knowing that when I got out, I didn't know how far they were going to take it back. When I got back in, I knew at least they were heading in the right direction. Yes, we saw that, Jason. And then if you buy options on that margin, AVID, same scenario. There's your bobble. Get ready to buy this one on positive trading. Let's see. We went through the gold series FM or FSM, another J-hook pattern. Did we show this one? I think we must have. And this one, SPU, the reason I'm showing this one is because notice where it's moved. It's moved from 2 to 20 some odd in the matter of 2 weeks. Now it's consolidated. And so why does this look interesting? Because if the profit taking's over, look at the percentage move. Even if they brought it back up to test the recent high at 21, that's still a 50% move. So remember, when they start moving some of these around, notice prior to this, make this smaller. Prior to this, there was nothing. Now there's something. So the advantage, again, we have is we can see whether that something is a pattern. No. Remember, where does the hammer signal have to occur? Usually in the oversold condition. What it did show, though, was that they weren't closing it back below the T-line. And ATHM, watching this one, why? Because notice where they moved it back to after they hit the resistance level, right back to the T-line. And buying starting back in tells me if they get a J-hook pattern breaking through here, we're coming back up probably to test this level, which would be pretty close to the 200-day moving average. I don't know, what was the volume on? Yeah, SPU is 600,000 shares, so at least right now it makes it easy to get in and out of. But probably back here, you probably had volume that wasn't very excessive. Oh, volume on that day was 700 shares. On this day, 81,000, 145,000. So, yeah, the volume didn't really pick up until you started getting over into this area. Is that what it is? Oh, we did that one. All right. That's about all we got tonight on the long side. Still some good shorts. VXR remains a good short because you can see the dynamics of this one where the downtrend, every time it comes up and hits a 50, it fails. So where's it likely going to go to? Back to the bottom of the trend channel. Pause. Yeah, you can stay with this one. OMN. There's another short that if it opens lower after your doji gap down, It's probably moving back to the 50. Is that the target? Well, anytime I see a move like this, notice how this started with a kind of a kicker signal. Now it's starting to back off. Where do you think the next likely target is? Probably back here to test the 50. And a lot of people say, well, do you use Fibonacci? This is where I'd put a Fibonacci retracement on here. Not that I think that that's going to be one of the targets. As we can see today, it hit right smack dab on the 38% retracement. The next one could be, if it keeps continuing down, you might have the 50 and the 50-day moving average and the 50% retracement coinciding, and then down here. So it's not that we're looking for those as targets. We're looking to see what happens once they get to those levels to see if that's where the buying starts coming in. Solar Edge Technologies. You can see the doji sandwich. You can see that it broke this little resistance level. You're sitting right here at this level. Any weakness from here could be another wave 3 to the downside. And we recommended going short on KFY today. Same scenario, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, just for curiosity's sake. If this was the Fibonacci retracement, and just kind of hovered at the 38. But this one's got the good prospect of coming back down and test this level, and or doing another wave like that to the downside. One more. SEAS, SeaWorld. Failed here. Notice what the trend is. There's a good likelihood they could bring it right back down to the trend channel, bring you down into this area. So that one can be shorted. Let's see, ATHM, Elliott. Yes, that's why you have to watch. Now you have to watch to see whether they're going to keep it up above the T-line and go through, or if they brought it back down, that would tell you, yes, you had kind of that double top right in here, failing at the 50, starting your next wave to the downside. Is this a blue ice? Well, usually a blue ice failure. No, a blue ice failure is when this one's not a good example, but a blue ice failure is when they come down through a resist or support level, come back up, test it, and fail, and go down to the next support level. All right. Okay, so right now, again, the reason I'm more interested in what's going on in the slow curve fry pan bottoms is the market's not really moving in any great direction, but we know what should happen coming out of a fry pan bottom or a slow curve. Good prospects of a high profit trade. And if the market all of a sudden turned for whatever reason, usually it takes a little bit longer for a fry pan bottom to reverse, so it gives you an extra day or two to get out of the trade. Okay, that's about all I got tonight. Again, there's not a whole lot of movement in this market because of the Dow heading in one direction, the NASDAQ heading in another, and neither one of them going with any great speed one way or the other. So with that, is there anybody that has any general questions on candlesticks? All right, if not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.2 seconds, do the next double line. Checkpoint, yeah, you can stay short. There's kind of your bearish flutter kicker signal. I would stay short on this one. OPK. You can get ready to buy this one. You got kind of that little scoop pattern, and you're trying to break out through this downtrending channel. It's not doing anything real active yet. I'd rather buy it, seeing that there's some good strength coming into it. And HollyFrontier, still you got the T-line crunch. If I was going to buy this one, I'd have a buy stop just right up here. That if it comes back up through that level, it's telling us the T-line crunch is still in progress, that the 50 is not acting as resistance. And Pacific Biosciences, just stay long. I wouldn't want to see it close back below the 50. That would put you in a little bit of a bobble setup. Slow curve on ENT, stay long, anticipate the 200 being the next target. Camp, nice breakout. This one you can be buying with the anticipation that if it breaks out through this level, which is where it is right now, you're probably heading up here to the 200 pretty quick. XON, another slow curve breakout, another one you can buy on positive trading. Again, remember, we're buying the signals when they're in the oversold condition. We're buying the patterns when they're probably getting up into the overbought area. NSU, yeah, just be careful of some profit taking now. You hit this resistance level and started selling off. So if you were long and they open it lower tomorrow, I'd probably take profits. You can always put your buy stop right back up here. But if it comes up through there, the profit taking's over. And SPHS, getting a little bit dicey up here. And this is the diciness. That huge profit taking, and as of yet, they aren't showing anything to show the buyers have stepped back in. Same scenario on this one. If I was going to be a buyer, I'd have a buy stop just up here at around 640. But if it comes up through there, it looks pretty much like the profit taking is over. And Sonus, right now, if you're short, you stay short. That big reversal signal, as long as you're still heading down in the stochastics and you don't see any buy signal, you just want to stay short. Fran, nothing to do here. Just stay long as it stays above the T-line. Silica, this one you can be ready to go short. It opens weaker tomorrow. Kind of a failure up here with your doji little gap down. I would just stay short on this one. True Blue. This one you watch for the bobble. You can see right now they haven't been able to get back below the T-line. If I was going to buy this aggressively, I'd put a buy stop just above today's high at around, let's say 2273. Then I just watch diligently to see what it does once it gets back up to the 200. Or less aggressive, if it gets up through the 200, then you can be buying it on the bobble breakout. Let's see, SFTEY. That one's not coming up, Baron. Apple had a good chart today with a bullish flutter kicker away from the T-line or from the 200. Look what trajectory you're in. You're right smack dab back to this one. You stay long on this one. There's still a little gap right here that needs to be filled. And Nautilus, nothing here to get excited about. I wouldn't be long or short. Looks more like a wedge formation, and there's no direction to it. Yard, you stay long, but notice what's happened today. You had that gap up in the overbought condition. You stay long, but you have your stop right here. It should not come back down through that level. And ESRX, nothing right here. If you're short, you stay short. I would use today's open as my stop if I was short. If it came back up through there, it pretty much tells us that the 50 is acting as support. That's the checkpoint. Stay short. Charmers. All you can do right now is stay long, but as you can see, the doji is right here. You want to see this open positive and trade positive tomorrow, staying above the T line. AIG, another gold stock that just is back into the trend. You stay with it. SEHN, nothing here except you've got a big dark cloud kind of bearish belt hold. This one you get ready to short. If it opens weaker with the anticipation, it could come back down and test the 50. 2, nothing here. I know it pays a good dividend yield, but right now I wouldn't be trading it because as you can see, there's no direction to this one. I take it you're looking for Amazon. Amazon, you stay long. Notice what the uptrend started with. Your best friend. Your best friend. Now you're probably heading back up into this trend channel. I think we did PACB, didn't we? Yes, stay long. Don't let it close back below the T line. U.S. Steel, backing and filling. I'd stay long, but if it opened lower tomorrow, it's probably coming back to test the T line. Same with AK Steel, where it did come back down and almost test the T line today. Monster Worldwide, nothing here. It can't short it because it's below $5, and you don't want to be in it because it's below the T line. No sign of reversal on. Is that you referring to crude oil? Oops. Yeah, nothing yet. You are in the oversold area. Not too far away from the T line, so there's nothing to show that crude oil is reversing. ADI, just stay long. This one would have been a little bit scary with that belt hold. It didn't confirm though, but I would still have my stop right down in this area. But if it came back down, then that bearish belt hold is in progress. DRD, gold, you just stay with this one. AB, I still can't make anything wonderful out of this chart. There's nothing there. Primo water. Jason, this is where you just have to ask yourself, is this someplace where you want to have your money? And if the chart doesn't look good, take whatever money you have left and go someplace where you know you can start making it back again. A lot of people get into the hopium, where when something goes bad against them, they're hoping it will come back eventually to where they got in. You have to look at each chart and say, would I be buying this chart right now, or would I be holding this chart right now? And if the answer is no, take that money because it's all the same color, whether it's sitting in that stock or sitting in another stock. You want to take it and move it someplace where it's going to do you good instead of sitting in someplace where you're just hoping that it will turn around. This one, DRAM wouldn't be doing anything. You can see where they had the potential breakout and it failed. Right now there's nothing there that tells you there's any buying strength coming into it. Mplex, that's a good looking short. kind of a dumpling top, but you have kind of a bearish flutter kicker failing at the 200. You're sitting right here at this support level. If it opens lower, you can be shorting it. Big bullish engulfing on Synaptics. You can buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. AMBA has just been a nice steady eddy. We started buying this as it broke out. Just kind of sitting with it. And PBYI did some profit taking today, but not anything of any great magnitude. So at this point, if you're long, put your stop at today's low. Because the rationale would be that if they started selling it off from here, what are they going to be doing? More than likely, they're going to be doing a bobble pattern. So you take your profits and then see what it does once it gets back to the T-line area. BSPM, nothing here, just sideways wedge. I think BSPM, when I remark, that's what kind of Sandy tells me I do at nighttime is BS in the PM. Again, AK Steel back testing the 50. Williams Brothers. Right now, you should be out of this. If you were going to buy it, it needed to open positive today. But the suspicion that it wouldn't be opening positive today was the fact that your stochastics were still heading down, and so you definitely needed confirmation. So more than likely, obviously, it's going to be coming back here to test the 50 and or testing the bottom of the trend channel. ERD, I'd still use the T-line. As long as it keeps waffling above the T-line, you're all right. Square, still in this big fry pan bottom. You stay long on this one. Once came out of the chute nicely today. You can still be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow because you'd be breaking out through this resistance level with kind of a cup and handle. John, if you're leaving, we'll all leave. How's that? That's about all we got for tonight. We are in the summer doldrums. So if you're not making a whole lot of money or you're really pushing to try to make money, just go to cash, play a little bit more golf, go swimming. Right now, until there's something dramatic in the markets, we're just going to be in this slow sideways market. And that means each stock is what you want to base your criteria on. Right now, I'd have go a little bit heavier in the gold stocks and have a little bit some of the good biotechs. All right, with that, job numbers coming up doesn't mean a hill of beans. It's already built into the market. So unless it's something real drastic that surprises everybody, I don't think it's going to do anything. All right, everybody. Now you can jump in the pool. We'll see everybody bright and early in the morning.